Hello friends, this is Jivtesh from Learn Coding Hub. Today's session is part of NumPy tutorial series. In this series, we are covering the various aspects of the NumPy. Today's one is focused on how we can create arrays with NumPy with various routines. We will cover, so what we will cover today is that very first thing we are going to cover is how we can create NumPy array from the existing data. Within that one, we will see how we can create the NumPy array from the Python list or tuple. So we'll use the numpy.array, and then we will see how we can load the data into the NumPy array from CSV. We will see how we can create NumPy array from data within a string, and also we can create the NumPy array with Lambda functions. So that is these routines we will use if you have any existing data, how we can create NumPy array. If we want to create NumPy array from scratch, like for example from shapes and values, then we will look into how we can use the zeros function, which will create the zero array. Then we will see ones function, ones routine, where we can create the various dimensions of the NumPy array with ones. We will look into the empty array, which is good. It's low on memory if you define upfront, and then you can add the values later on. We will look into the full array. This is basically similar like ones, but in the ones you, of course, the array is ones, but here you can give any value. We will look into that one as well. And also we can create identity, we can use identity routine to create a diagonal array. So if you have a requirement of creating the diagonal ones, then we can create a square array with that one. We will also look into creating the NumPy arrays with numerical ranges. So the one routine we're going to use is arange. So within a range we can give the start, stop, and the steps as well. So we look into that one. And also we're going to look into the linspace, where we can create an evenly spaced array. Just another thing to add is that where the shapes and values, the zeros, ones, empty, and full, they come with underscore like routines as well. This is where if you want to copy the existing arrays shape and data type, so we can use those ones. So we look into each of these ones in more detail. So in today's session, this is what we're going to cover. So let's make a start. So we will start with the numpy dot array one. So let's import numpy as np, and let's say we want to create so let's say we create simple tuple 1 2 3. This is just simple temporary tuple we created, and let's say we want to create an array, numpy array with this one. So we say np dot array. I can give this one, and yeah, it will create this one. And of course I can change the data type if I want to give the data type of float, then we will have in a float. So this is the one-dimensional array we can create. So if you have the existing list, we can create the two-dimensional as well. Let's say you have a list where you have 1 2 3, and then you have 4 5 6. Then same thing, numpy dot array, and then with g you can have the two-dimensional array. Of course you can see, and so that is the very basic way we can use the numpy array. And also just want to add, so where you see the square brackets, so that is basically optional. So as you have seen here in the first one, we didn't give the d type, and it copies the same data type from the tuple, but you can specify the data type as well. Okay, so now let's look into the next one, which is if we have a CSV, then how we can load that one into the NumPy array. So again, as you can see, we have to provide the file name where the CSV is, And then we have a few optionals. Delimiter, this is where how your CSV structure is, it separated by comma or white space or anything else, pipe as well. So by default NumPy takes this as a space. So if I have a CSV with a space, then I don't need to specify that one. And of course, as you can see with all of them, the data type would be there, so we can specify the data type. Let's have a look into this one. So let's see. So I have already created a CSV. So one with I will quickly show you. So the data one I have created with a comma separation, and this one I have created with the space. So let's try with the space one first, and let me quickly go to this one. Okay, so we can say np.load text, and then we have to specify the path. Now I'm running this Python already within my within the same folder, this folder where I have the CSV file. Otherwise you have to give the full path, so relative path. So let me because I'm in the same one, so I can use data underscore, I think the name was data underscore space dot CSV. And then because because this one is with space, so I don't need to specify that one. And let's see, and as you can see, it has loaded the data. Now one thing is that because in the CSV the data was integer, by default NumPy uses float, but if I want to change, I can specify d type is equal to int, and now I will have data in int. Now let's try to load the other one, which was the data. Now if I don't specify the delimiter, it will throw an error, so like this one, because I haven't specified that one. So let me clear this one first, so that by the way, this CL function is not by default. I created in this session so that it is easy for me to clear this one, just in case you wonder. So okay, let's now load the data CSV. Now I have to specify delimiter as comma, and then I haven't given the comma afterwards. Yeah, so as you guys can see, it loads the CSV. So that way you can load all your data into the NumPy. Okay, so now let's quickly move on to our from string. Okay, so let's say you have string. Now similar thing in the string as well. I will quickly show you just one difference I just want to mention. So within the CSV you have the delimiter, but with string it is called separator with SCP, so we have to specify that one. Okay, so let's say from string, so if I have np dot from string, and then let's say I have string 1 2 3 like that. With that one I will mention separator is comma, and let's see if I don't specify the d type. So of course by default it will take the float, and if I specify the d type is equal to int, then it will be 1 2 3. So that way, and also same thing if you have a string. So let's say, okay, let me show you. Let's say if you have, of course you have string somewhere else 1 3 5 7. Now this one is with space, and so if I say np dot from string, and then if I give s, and I mention separator is space, and then d type I want as integer, so then you can have like this one. So you can load the values from your from string into your NumPy array. Okay, this is another way you can create the NumPy array. Okay, now the next one is you can use the functions to load the data. So now this is I hope you guys are familiar with the Lambda functions, which are anonymous functions. If you are not, maybe I will quickly tell you. So basically Lambda function is, let's say if I have created a Lambda function as x is equal to lambda, and then you give the parameters, like any function takes the parameter, it can be any number. So let's say, but this will be like the shape of your exactly the shape of your the array. So this is generic lambda function. So let's say I give as I, j, and then I give expression as I plus j. This is basically if this function takes the parameters I and j, and this is the value it's going to return. So if let's say if I've done that one, and if I send 2 plus 3, of course the answer is 5. So that's how the lambda function works. So within the NumPy array, so if I use np dot from function, then I have to provide, of course, first thing is my function. So I'm going to give lambda, and I'm going to specify ij, and then let's say I say I, and the next thing I have to specify is the shape. So let's say I'm going to saying I want to create NumPy array 2-dimensional with 2 by 2, and so let me show you guys. So this is what it is. What does this mean? Okay, so basically, as you have seen, so this each of them is a coordinates. Okay, so of course this one 0 is, think about in the terms of coordinates. So this is the row 0, column 0. So it is like this. In tuple, if you present, it will be the first is its coordinate is 0 0. The second one's coordinate is 0 1. So row 0 but column 1. Same thing for this one. For this one, your column is 1. Sorry, the row is 1 but the column is 0. And for this one, row is 1, column is 1. So each of these values takes its coordinate position. So when you send it, so let's say this one is 0 0. So basically you're sending those as that value into the lambda function. So for this particular value, because the coordinates are, let me show you, 0 0. So you're sending 0 0 into the function, but what we are returning, I, which is 0. So that is the reason it is 0. Again, here we are sending 0 1, but what are you returning? I, which is 0. That is the reason this value is 0. In this row, what we are sending 1 0, because its coordinates are 1 0. We are sending 1 and 0, but what we are returning? 1. That's why you have 1 here. Here as well we are sending 1, coordinates as 1 1, which is I1 J1, but of course we are returning I back, which is 1. That is the reason 0 0 1 1. So let me show you another example which will make more clear. So let's say I do I plus j, okay, and this time I'm going to create 2 rows, 3 columns. I don't think, yeah. So basically you are returning, so what is the coordinate for this one? 0 0. What I'm returning? I plus j. I is 0, j is 0. That's why 0. For this one, 0 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. That's why returning 1. Then what is this coordinate? 0 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. That's why we are returning 2. And similar like that one. And I think you got an idea. So yeah, so you can have any type of the lambda function. So I can have I can make anything like this one into times 2, and then you will have that function. So very handy. So hope you guys able to understand. Try just few different combinations. Of course, any question, do drop me a comment. Hope I will be able to answer you guys. Okay, so these are the routine functions which you guys can use if you have existing data in various forms, as we have seen. Now let's say you're working on your data science project or any analysis, and you want to create array with specified shape or even the values. So we can use any of these ones. For example, numpy dot let me clear this one. So let's say np dot zeros. So I can mention about this one. As we guys can see, we just have to specify the shape. If I don't give data type, which is optional, of course. If I say, let's say the shape is 2 by 2, and if I just say, of course it will fill everything with zeros. that is the routine's name, zeros. Only thing, as you can see, like I mentioned before, the by default data type is float. So what you can do is d type is equal to int, as we have done previously, so it will be 0 zeros. So you can have any dimension. I can have 3-dimensional as well, as you guys can see. So yeah, this is the zeros. Same concept for the ones. The only difference is it will fill with ones. Same concept, nothing different. Again, let me quickly show you, while I'm doing these ones, their likes one as well. So let's say, so like for example, here we are specifying a shape. Now let's say in your project you already have some, let's say you have already some array. So let's say np dot array. I'm going to just specify, let's say I'm going to make 1 2, and then it's 2 by 2 basically. Yeah, okay, 3 and 4. Okay, so let's say you already have array. So of course we are using our very first function which we did before. So if I do print y, as you can see, yeah, this is 2 by 2 function. And if I want to create so I already have an array. I just want to create a zeros array or ones array, exactly the same shape and data type. So what I can do is that, so let's say np dot zeros underscore like. So all I have to give is the function, and then voila, you guys can see it has created us 2 by 2 and with the int, because this one was having the integer, so it is having the same data type. Same thing you can do with ones, and yes, we will have the same way. So it's easy for you, so that you don't have to specify same data type if you're working with the same data set. Okay, so let's look into the next one, which is the empty array. Okay, so now we can, so with zeros ones, of course you're assigning a value, 0 is 1, you can change later on, but you're assigning those ones. Let's say you don't want to specify the value, because within your code you want to specify the values later on, but you want to specify the shape up front, because within the NumPy performance wise it is not good if you try to append the rows or columns to the array. So it is always good you specify the shape up front, if you can, if you know, and then you can assign the values later on. So now with the empty array, it will pick the whichever the value is available within the memory. So let's quickly do, so let's say np dot empty, and then we can say we just have to specify the shape. So I'm going to say again 2 by 2 for now, and as you guys can see, it picked up the randomly the last assigned value, which was 0, so it picked up that one. And so yeah, same thing with the with np dot empty underscore like. So we had created x, so if I do that one, it is the array, empty array it has created with that one. Let me see if x was it x, or oh sorry, x was our lambda function, so I think it was y I created. Yeah, so okay, so let me change it to y. Yeah, and as you guys can see, it has used the same data type. Of course, the values it picked randomly, whatever is available in the memory, so it is telling us the 1 1, but of course it is empty, and we can change it later on. I will quickly show you. Let me assign this one to empty empty array. I'm just naming it. Of course, this is not the good way to name the ones, but okay, so empty, as I have assigned this one, now I can quickly see, and now it is of course assigned. As you can see, it is not the value, it is just showing you whatever is available in the memory. And then I can assign this value, so I can say actually my row number 0 is actually 1 and 2. So if I do that, and now I do, as you can see, it has now assigned. So you can use the empty array in this way. Performance wise it is quite good because you're not assigning the value, you just defining the shape. Okay, so the next one is the full array. So now with full array, it is similar to zeros and ones. Of course, zeros, ones specify it's gonna have the 0 or it's gonna have ones, but with full array you can specify any fill value, as you can see. So same concept. Let's say if you want to create 3 by 3 array, but with value of 10, let's say. Okay, so if I want to create 3 by 3 array and of fill 10, then sorry, not NP array, full, and yeah, so you have got 3 by 3 array with a value of 10. Okay, and same way we can use the this one full underscore like, and so we can use so I can say np dot full underscore like, and then our array which we want to copy, or the structure and the data we copy y, and I'm going to fill with this one with 100. So it has filled 2 by 2 array with 100. Okay, and the last one in this one, shape and values, is if you want to create a diagonal square array. So let's say you want to have the ones, and it will fill the ones in the diagonal. So let me say np dot identity, and then I'm going to specify the square array size. So if I say 4, and it's going to create the ones in the diagonal square. Of course, I can type the data type as int, and then it will create the integer ones. Okay, and the other way we can create are with the numerical ranges. So with numerical range, so this we can use np range. So if I use np range, now as you can see, the start is optional, stop we have to provide, step is optional, and the data type is optional. So let's start with one. If I just give the stop, let's say if I say arrange 10, okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to give us an array which is 2 0 2 0 1 2 3 9, like that one. If I give the start, I say start from 2, finish at 10, then it will start from 2. If I specify steps, I want to step in a 2, so it's going to give us 2 4 6 8, and yeah, like that one. So that, and of course you can change the data type as we have done before. So this way you can use the range with that one, and to create an array. The next one is our linspace. Now with range you specify the steps, but you're not 100% sure, or of course these are the very small data range we are talking about, but of course if you're big, you don't know how many data items you're going to get. But sometimes in your project you want to have the specified number of the data items. You want up to 10, you want a 10 array of a 10 or 100, whatever it is. So then you can use the linspace, which is the evenly divided. You want the evenly divided, but you want the specified number of, so you can use np.linspace, and then you can specify, as you can see, we have to specify start, stop, and then how many you need within that one. If you don't specify the number, the default is 50, it's going to 50, for example. Let me show you. So if I say start from 2, go to 100, if I don't give the number of how many specific data item points we need, then it will give us the 50 with the evenly spaced. But if I specify I want 5, then it will try to evenly space. And also it has the optional, of course we have the data type optional, but we have endpoint as well. Like here when I specify 10, endpoint is a boolean value, true or false. So by default it is true, means it takes the endpoint. So when we specify 100, of course it is including that one. I can specify it as false, and if I do that one, it will skip the 100 and it will try to evenly space within that one. So yeah, so that's how we can do. So guys, this covers where I would not say very basic, but yeah, it covers a lot of the different ways in creating the arrays. So what we're going to, as part of this series, of course, the further sessions we will look into how we manipulate, how we index, and lots of operations on the NumPy arrays, and try to use the full potential of the NumPy. But yeah, this one was particularly focused on the creating the arrays. So I hope this guys helped you in a way to understand and try to use. I always suggest do the hands-on, try to create yourself, because that gives you idea how various things works. And of course, if you have any question, put in the comment. All right, speak to you guys next time. Cheers, bye.